Hello and welcome to Actual Play BALIKBAYAN. We are playing with the creator, Jamie, who's right above me. I am super excited to play this game. It's a brand new series on the show. We're going to be playing every 2 weeks at this time. So if you enjoy it, please come back. Tonight we're probably going to be doing setting and character creation, so you'll get a sense of what this game is all about. You'll learn it with us. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me at Sean Nittner pretty much everywhere. And I've looked at the PDF and the Google Sheets, and I'm very excited about this game. So yeah, I want to find out more, and we'll do it together. How about you, Morgan?
Hi, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her interchangeably. You can find me on the social medias at Serena Bezos. I got invited, and as soon as I saw this amazing game and the colors and just the design, I'm like, yes, please. Okay, thanks. Looks great. I'm here. I'm excited. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. How about you, Ash?
Hi. I'm Ash. I use she, her pronouns. I make games and also stream. And yeah, super hype. I, BALIKBAYAN's one of those games where you're working on your own cyberpunk fantasy setting game, and then you're like, do I really need to keep working on this? Because this cool shit already exists. So I'm incredibly hyped to be and I've also never gotten to play a Belonging Outside Belonging format game before. So I'm really hyped to I've read a bunch and been like, yes, this system seems like it probably would work very well in play. I know it's nice to actually get to to play a thing. So that's me. Jamie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But Ash, I love In Which We Live and Breathe. So, it's really good stuff. But yeah, I'm Jamie, they, them pronouns. I made Balikbayan. I've made a lot of other games. Please don't tell my other games, but Balikbayan is my favorite. It's my baby. I'm very invested in this child. So, yeah. And I made this game because, to be honest, I wanted to play Shadowrun, but it's a lot of rules. It's a lot of stuff to keep in mind. I still have horror stories from earlier editions, and I wanted something that would be easy for anyone to pick up and play. And the belonging outside belonging system is definitely that. And yeah, so I'm really excited to play with everybody to get into. But I guess what makes Balikbayan different is the Filipino folklore. I just couldn't resist putting some of that in.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see that. Yeah.
And yeah.
I forgot a channel announcement. I'm sorry. I just realized the thing. This is a general channel announcement for all our shows. Right now and indefinitely, forever. All of our proceeds are being split between Black Lives Matter and the Trans Legal Defense Fund. So if you subscribe to the show, that's where that money is going to go. If you want to contribute individually, that is also wonderful. And if you are looking for other actions that you can take to help make the world a little better place, and you're struggling to find some, I'm going to put some in chat as well. Sorry about that. I just realized I want to get that out in the intro, so I don't remember it, an hour into the game, and realize I forgot about it. So please continue.
But yeah, so to get us into Balikbayan and everything, I think it's important safety first. So I'm going to run through. We talked about this before the stream. We are using 3 different safety tools. The first one is lines and veils. And so we went over this. I'll just repeat it for everybody watching and also for us so that we can remember. I'll do this before each game also. We'll check in. And so we have some hard lines, meaning this will not show up in the game period. So we have hard lines on sexual assault, slavery, and torture. And we have veils, meaning they can show up in the game, but we won't go into detail or to happen off screen. So we have veils on graphic gore, harm to children, sexual content, and martial law. And then we have a few ask first, meaning it should be okay to have it in the game, but let's get into the habit of asking each other first just to be sure. So we have an ask first for bullying, harm to animals, racism, homophobia, and police's positive or a positive force, basically. So those are our lines and veils. How do we feel about them?
I'm gonna add one for eye imageries for ask first because I have a weird eye thing. So yeah.
No worries. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah, because this is a living document. So, like, sometimes we don't know, right? So, I will keep checking in. But that's definitely where our second tool comes into play. We'll be using script change. So, if we say, you know what, Jamie, I thought I was okay with this, I am not okay with this. So, just ask to pause or stop. We can check in on lines and veils and add that in. A few other tools in script change is we can fast forward if we're like, I'm not so interested in the scene, or I don't want to go into detail. So can we fast forward? We can also rewind. This I do this a lot where I think I'm okay with something, and then an hour or so later, I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm not okay with that. So can we rewind? We can retcon whatever we like because we're all very creative people. We can always come up with something different that everyone is happy about and excited about. And yeah, so those are basic script change tools. You can type them in the chat or you can just say them out loud. I'll keep an eye for it. And our last tool is an open door policy. So meaning if you need to get up for whatever reason, please feel free to step away from the game. If you can tell us when you're going to come back, that's great. If you can't, that's also great. You know, as long as you're taking care of yourself first, right? So yeah, those are our safety tools in play. Do we have any questions about them or? Okay.
All good.
Sound great. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for
Very
going
cool.
over all of them.
Yeah, sure. No worries. Okay, so safety done. Let me introduce everyone to the world of BALIKBAYAN. So BALIKBAYAN Returning Home is a cyberpunk game, but there is a heavy dose of magic. Magic is a very integral part of the game. But magic is not separate from machine. And a lot of the fun is in all of us figuring out what does that mean, right? So I'm going to read out the premise. It's in the first page of the play kit if any of us want to follow along, but I'll just read it out for us to get into the zone for anybody watching and listening. Okay, so it's been a long time since we've been home. The last time we were here, Earth still had real trees and grass. Animals roamed in shrinking forests. The sky was blue, vast, and bright behind the wires. Half of the population hadn't been affected by natural disasters. The last time we were here, there were so many of us. Elementals, beings made of the strange stuff between magic and nature, reality and fantasy, hope and fear, the supernatural. We inspired legends, myths, the stories humans told to scare one another into behaving. We were all of that. A long time ago, the humans built machines that could see us, sense us, and more importantly, contain us, enslave us. We were magic, we were power. We fueled their dreams, their desires, we shaped reality for them. At first, we did it out of love, but when the love faded, we realized we didn't have a choice. The freedom we had was long gone. They changed us, all of us, into something like a machine that dreams of magic. That's what we are now. Inside us is a string held tight on the verge of breaking between machine and magic. We escaped the colonies, banded together. We made it back home. The cost was high, but we made it home. The journey was perilous. The journey demanded sacrifice, but we made it home. It had to be all worth it. But now our old masters are after us, and they refuse to let us go. They're willing to tear apart our home, what's left of it, to bring us back. But we're not going back. We're never going back. This is our home, and we fight. We have to destroy them before they destroy us. We don't have any other choice. What will that destruction look like? We don't know yet. Will we be able to outrun our masters and those who hunt us down? Can we use our magic to bring about the rebirth of the city and all elementals? Will this be our reckoning or our homecoming? And so that's what we play to find out in BALIKBAYAN. Right, so all of us are elementals. We have been used by the corp to power their plans, to power their ambition through our magic. And each of us, just to make it to the city, we had to make a lot of sacrifices, right? So it's up to us. We can, as we make the character, it may come up or it'll come up later in play, right? So, yeah, and I also want to stress that even though these playbooks are based on Filipino folklore, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to do research or anything like that. Actually, if you're Filipino, you'll notice I took a lot of liberties. So I removed some stuff that was slightly uncomfortable from our folklore, and I wanted to like make it cyberpunk. So, for example, the San Telmo is a playbook that's based on. It's actually based on an American thing. It's Saint Elmo's Fire, right? And then here we just call it San Telmo, like we just push the words together. Um, and so I just decided, well, you know, if there's a hacker, maybe they can hack into ghosts. So that's what the San Telmo is. It's obviously not based on reality. So there's that. Speaking of which, speaking of the playbooks, so I'd like to ask everybody, which playbooks are you keen on? Which one is calling out to you? Let's start with Ash. Which one is calling out to you?
So I've got a couple that I'm interested in, and so I wanted to like kind of have those so that people can be like, oh well, I was looking at that one, so I can change things up. The Duende is really interesting to me as like the way that the making stuff. The San Telmo is really cool, and the Saint are the other three that I'm really interested in.
Ooh,
So
cool.
I could go either way on any of those, but those are the ones that I'm like, oh yeah, there's something in that speaks to me.
Awesome. Yeah, and Morgan, how about you? Which one's calling out to you?
You know, I read these when I first got the game, and then I forgot everything, so I'm rereading them right now. So,
Oh, no
pass
worries. You
and
want
come
me to
back.
run through? Sure. I'm happy to run through them again too,
Yeah,
if you like.
sure, please.
Yeah, why don't we do
Yeah.
it just for everyone watching too? I've got them. I've got it up right now,
Yeah.
and we can see
Ooh,
up to
all
4 at
right.
a time on
Sure.
screen.
All right, so we can take turns reading them out. And I will pronounce them first because I know people can get nervous about that. So Sean, if you could read out the Tikbalang for us, please.
All right, the Tikbalang. Generations ago, all animals of the earth died out. You carry the earth's memory of them, hollow magic that gives you the strength, agility, speed, ability, and form. As Tikbalang, you can access these memories and become any anthropomorphic version of these animals. And their lure is when someone asks the Tikbalang to speak for a spirit, they gain a token.
Yeah, and I think people will notice that the version we're playing with is slightly different from the one you can find. So this is partly a play test. Thank you so much, everybody, for
We love
getting
play
into
testing
this
on this channel. It is all good.
Yeah, but it's slightly different. So the Tikbalang is a character that is deeply inspired by the shamanic ideas. And so the idea of the shaman is they're connected to animals, they're connected to spirit. But what does that look like in a cyberpunk future? So I'm going to also briefly describe the elemental magic because each playbook comes with its form of elemental magic. This is me pushing in PBTA in a BOB game. So each one comes with a set of moves. So for the Tikbalang, they can shapeshift. This is really fun. So you can take on any mythical form of an animal, anthropomorphic like, because the original Tikbalang in Filipino folklore is an anthropomorphic horse. So this one, but you can take on any form you like. And then the second one is spirit speak. So this is the Tikbalang is really good at gaining information. They can reach out to the spirit realm, which remains in the internet. Like that's all that's left of the spirit realm. It's wrapped up in the internet and the digital remains. We seek out information through that. So the Tikbalang is a very open-ended playbook. It's up to you how you want to play it, but it's very good if you want to seek out information, if you want to seek out wisdom, if you want to get creative with being different animals. I will say, in every single time I played it, someone will play a huge cat, like they just want to be a 1 or 2 story cat for no reason. So you can do that with the Tikbalang.
That is not for no reason, because I can say the Tikbalang is the playbook that I've been looking at, and I definitely want to play a big jaguar person. So yes, big cats are rad.
Yeah.
I have other playbooks I'm excited about too, but that was my first thought as well.
As soon as I saw the Tikbalang, I was like, yep, I know which people in like my communities are going to go, that one. I want to play that one.
That one. Yeah.
It's true. I wanted to say hello to all the fairies. You can have your cyberpunk fantasy. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving that to us.
But yeah, and then so our second one is the Dewata. So Morgan, could I ask you to read out the Dewata for us, please?
Yeah, sure. Generations ago, the planet's elements became cruel, devastating the planet. You carry the purest form of these elements: fire, wind, water, and earth. As a Dewata, you access these memories and command the elements and bend them to your will, vision, and desire. Your lore: when someone asks the Dewata to not hold back, they gain a token.
So the Dewata is like a pure powerhouse, and it's all about collateral damage. It's all about trying to figure out if you are the Earth's protector or their avenger, because the planet has been through a lot, and the Dewata is connected to that, right? So, and their elemental magic, they can channel the elements. They can use any of the elements as a weapon. So this is fire, wind, water, earth. They also have energy drain, meaning they can take in energy from something or someone else. So the Dewata is a much more straightforward playbook, right? So some of the playbooks are like really hyper focused, and others are more open to interpretation. I thought it was interesting that Ash was gravitating to all the open ones, right? So that's really cool. But yeah,
do people often play the Dewata as like a blue guy with a green mullet? Is that?
Yeah. But yeah, basically. And then so that's our Dewata, and then the next one is we have the Saint. Ash, could you read the Saint for me, please?
Yeah. Generations ago, humans fought wars over gods and worship. You carry the remnants of that faith, the power of prayer. As a saint, you can access these histories and beseech the little gods, the forgotten gods that haunt your city. When someone asks the saint to call out upon the little god, they gain a token.
Yeah, so this one is a fun one. This is also another open-ended one. This one, with this playbook, you spend a lot of time interacting with the little gods. So as your GM, I'd be happy to do so. I'm going to warn you, some of them are going to be very cute little gods. I tend to do that. Some of them tend to be really creepy. It depends. But I have to have one that at least has a voice like this. So, and yeah, so the elemental magic is you can smite the wicked. It's no big deal, but you can activate the ancient protocols of forgotten satellites and use that. But you're going to destroy things for miles around. But you can also perform miracles with the little gods. But there'll be some sort of price to pay, depending on how that goes. So once again, the Saint is a very open playbook because it's up to the player. Like, what is that relationship with the little gods? What do the little gods want? So those are interesting questions to have. And then next we have.
I love the complexity of the Saint in that it kind of ties into a really like it has such a strong flavor of like syncretism, right? Of like oh yeah, well we got like we lost something, so we get St. Anthony from a Christian tradition, and then we also want to have like a hairy person show up from an Indigenous Australian tradition and things like that. I that's one of the reasons that it kind of calls out to me.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I really love about the Saint. Yeah, like it's a way to work out a lot of the strange Catholicism, animism that's going on in the Philippines and in a lot of places, right? A lot of places in the world, definitely. But yeah, so. And then our next playbook is secretly my favorite one because I am secretly an edgelord, I hide it from people, but it's there. So we have the aswang. So I'll read it out. Generations ago, humans feared the dark and what stalked them. You carry the remnants of that fear, humanity's desire to be consumed. As an aswang, you can access these memories and use blood and despair as your weapon. So the lure of the aswang is when someone tells the aswang what they're truly afraid of, they gain a token. So the song is really straightforward. Like you're just very good at scaring people and hurting people. That's basically it. So the elemental magic, hunt your prey. You can stalk your prey, um, and and uh, and you can know what they're afraid of. And the second one that's also really interesting is gift black wings, meaning you can create another aswang. You can create more of your kind. So when you're playing this swang, the question is, are you going to allow yourself to, the question is, are you one of the last to swang? Like what happened to the rest of you? Are you going to make some more? So this is always, every time someone uses gift black wings, it's like a big moment. And you get to choose how long they're in a swang for and what what that means exactly. But yeah, and so that's the aswang. And then next is the Santelmo. So I talked about this briefly as the ghost hacker. But could I have Morgan read this out for us, please?
Okay. Generations ago, humans despaired over death. You carry the remnants of that despair and humanity's desire to reconnect to those lost to death. As a Saint Elmo, you can connect to these memories and access almost any information, even the ghost of the wisdom left behind. The lore is when someone tells the Saint Elmo a secret no one else knows, they gain a token.
Right. And I also want to say if you want to make up a secret on the spot to tell the Sant Elmo, that's also totally okay. As a belong anti-belong game, you are encouraged to make stuff up all the time on the spot. That's when the game is most powerful. But yeah, so the Sant Elmo, their abilities is Spirit Fire, meaning they can phase in and out between. So Sulad is the underworld, and whoever picks up the Santelmo playbook, it's up to you what Sulad is, but basically it's the underworld. And the second ability is Let the Dead Speak. This is the main hacking. I have to resist the urge to go hack, 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 hack. I have the sound effect in my head. I don't know why.
It's a good sound effect. It goes right along with pew pew pew.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same energy, same vibe. But yeah, so when you hack with the Santelmo, you get to choose what's going on with information. I will say most people choose. You get more information than you ask for, revealing a dark secret. Most people cannot resist this option, but it's a good one. It's a good one. But yeah, so that's the Santelmo mainly. So both the Tikbalang and the Santamo are information gatherers, but it's a very different flavor. And usually the price of that information is very different. Um, yeah, and then last but not least, I had to have one really grounded character, but is also really creative, very open, is the Duende. So Ash, can I ask you to read out the Duende for us, please?
Yeah. Generations ago, humans obsessed over material wealth. You carry the remnants of that greed and humanity's desire to build grand things of beauty and power. As a duende, you can create the most wonderful and terrible machines. When someone helps the duende fix or create something, they gain a token.
Yeah, so that lore used to be when someone asked the duende to make something, but people were just like, "Duende, make this. Duende, make that." So I changed it.
Smart.
Because all my duende players were like, "I feel so used." So, so we changed that. That's what playtesting is for. But yeah, so the duende, there are two things. They are protectors and they're creators. So they're elemental magic, not another step. Means that they can engage their protection protocols. It's very open-ended what that means to the player. And is this what you needed? Meaning you can create anything you want on the spot. But there may be a price to pay or some sort of consequence, of course. But yeah, so those are playbooks, right? So right. So I know Ash had a few that she was gravitating towards. Sean wants to be a big cat, possibly other things.
The duende also is very attractive to me. Those two are the ones that, I mean, they're all really cool, but those are the ones that definitely drew me.
Awesome. Morgan, has that helped? Like, do you feel drawn to any one of them?
So either the Saint Elmo or the Aswang, because I usually play like the fluffy, fun characters. So like the Aswang would be like a complete like change of pace, and that sounds really intriguing. But also, I'm like, can I pull it off? Like,
you can be a fluffy killer. I'll it's fine. You know, I will support you. So.
I have confidence in you, Morgan. I think you can
thanks.
look side eye to the camera and just be like, "No, you don't know what I've gone through," and I believe it.
Do I need to take my hair down and just like throw it over my face?
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have it in the ponytail right now. I'm sure you've just been preparing it to just like
do what I need. My hair is really dirty too, so it's not moving that well.
Perfect.
Done.
Perfect. We are a swang, so
Yeah,
I feel like it's meant for you. It's meant for you. Absolutely.
All right.
I'm gonna put a peg in Saint then.
All right.
And be like, cool, that's me.
Well, then I think as much as I love big cats, I really like making things. So I'm going to do the duende. And
awesome.
I apologize to friends who are not going to see big cats. So what I think I will do is hide every column that we're not playing.
Yeah.
Which one are you doing? This is are we doing Janeless where Jamie's playing as well, or?
Yeah, good question. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah, we're doing the version where I'm a GM just to. I just prefer. Okay, here's a dirty little secret. Almost every BOB game, I run it with the GM anyway. But that's just me. I just like focus. But BALIKBAYAN still works really well without a GM. I have friends who've been running it for like almost a year without a GM. So there is that, right? But yeah, this is the version where I'm your GM. I just love playing all voices. I love being NPCs too much.
That's okay. I just want to double check because I saw it was GMless. So I was like, oh wait, hold on. Did we all choose? Okay.
Yeah. So BALIKBAYAN is one of the. It's a BOB game where you can like slot that in and out. So and we can even change our mind. So maybe next time I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna throw in a character. We can do that also. So it's very flexible. But yeah, good question. So we have our characters. So what we're going to do is, don't worry, I know names are really difficult, so you don't have to come up with a name on the spot. So we have pick lists. This is something that Belonging Outside Belonging is famous for. So just to help you get the character in mind, all of these are just suggestions. If you don't like anything in the pick list, you can just type in something else, no worries. So you have some choices. Your name, they're not specific names, they're just descriptions of names. And then you have your human form and your true form. So what that means to us will depend, right? Like the idea is we are runaways, we are hiding from the corpse, so maybe we don't want to flaunt our true form too much. But what does that mean though? Like, can we shift back and forth easily, or it's up to us in play. And what you hope for is really important, because there's a specific move that is just dedicated to making what you hope for more real. It's a strong move. And what you hope for, it's up to you, depending on the choices you make and what it is. Is it going to align with the rebellion and us and our freedom, or is it going to go against it a little bit? Is it going to distract you from what we need to do to destroy the corp, right? Or are they one and the same? It's an interesting choice. It also gives you like a starting point. And then who you are bonded to. These are all the delicious NPCs you're going to give me to play. So these are people that you know, because we've been in the city for a while. So these are people that you know that you can count on for information, that the corp might have an eye on. It depends. And then lastly, we have what connects us, and what will connect you to like another player character, basically. So I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to make their choices. I'm going to be quiet now.
Sounds good. Everyone in chat, if you have thoughts, I'll be checking those out. Otherwise,
help me pick a name, chat, or at least give me a letter.
I think I'm gonna go
Nice.
with a holy name.
Nice.
But I'm gonna call myself Tonio, as in St. Anthony, because when we talked about St. Elmo before, my brain went to St. Anthony's fire. So I'm gonna make an ergotism themed saint.
Exciting.
So
A what theme? I'm sorry, I missed the word. A what theme?
So
saint?
St. Anthony's fire is a common name for ergotism, which is alkaloid poisoning from like fungus in your grain.
Got it.
And like one of the common symptoms is like hallucinations. So like yeah, I like the idea of like and also like hallucinations and like necrotic weeping sores. So like I get my like small gods and my smiting in weird ways.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I love this. This is fantastic. Morgan, the letter has been provided to you.
It's a letter E. I know.
Oh, you got it.
A C. I'm just like, what can I do with the E though? So my choices for names conventions are a sharp name, a name that refers to an urban legend, a name that sounds intimidating, and a name that is pretty adjective plus a dark emotion. Oh man, I can see where it gets edgy with that one.
I was really showing myself in this playbook, so
I love it because I'm like, oh, ad libs. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I just love playing the edgy characters because they're the ones who feel the most, you know.
Just they feel the pain.
Oh, very sad. They have lots of feels.
Yeah, and actually, like for the song "What You Hope For," I put in there "Fall in Love for the First Time." You know, just to really hone it in.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can pick whatever. I'm just saying.
I think these are very, very smart prompts. Which of those prompts was exciting you, or do you think you're gonna go with, Morgan?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just like I'm not sure.
All right, so I will ask for some help. So my name choices are a practical and warm name, a name that sounds grounded, or a name that is a pretty adjective plus a helpful everyday object. And I have sort of two different ideas. One of them is for a name that sounds grounded. I'm thinking of something that is related to, you know, tectonic plates, seismic. I was thinking maybe like tremor, but like sounds like Trevor, but it's tremor. You know. And then for a useful everyday object, I'm just like, I feel like I've been working with my garage has been out of commission for a long time, and so the reason why I have a green screen right now is because everything that's in my garage is behind me, and it's been terrible. But the one nice thing about it is that I've had my tool chest, and I've just I've had access to all my tools, which I normally have to go to my garage for. And what I find that I use all the time, I don't know why, is a tape measure, just constantly. Like it's been so great to have my tape measure right next to me. So I was also thinking of something and measure or something, and you know. So I don't know if any of those sound. If anyone has any ideas based off of either of those.
I kind of like measure. Go on.
Sorry, I was just like, I figured out what I'm choosing for my name now.
Nice. What is it?
I decided to go with a sharp name, and I'm going with Ezra.
Nice.
Pretty.
Yeah. I feel like the Z in Ezra has lots of like sharp edges all around it.
Just one of those edgy names that I know. So.
Yeah.
Hello to all the Ezras out there. So, but yeah, I like measure because I kind of like the idea of this duende who measures everything and everyone around them.
Nice.
I mean, because they got to get the proportions right in order to bring it back. Like,
yeah,
they got to be very calculating.
I think I will be named True Measure then.
Ooh.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
I mean, should the name sound more conventional, like Rhonda, or it is a name like, you know, I mean, I'm assuming that we've got a pretty good leeway, but I don't know if.
Oh yeah. Whatever tone we're going for, whatever we're leaning into, for sure. But yeah.
Cool.
I once had someone who like really went in the opposite direction. I mean, this game is very gritty and everything, but I had someone who showed up with a San Telmo that was inspired by Krispy Kreme, the donuts. It was, but then he ended up being the darkest character. It was very strange. It was very. There's a lot of leeway in this game, is what I'm trying to say.
Cool. All right. All right, so we have Tonio, Ezra, and True Measure.
How are we feeling about our forms, our human form and our true form?
Yeah, I've got my human form, unwashed and unclean, with wild hair but calm eyes, and I'm writing my own true form.
Nice.
I have my true form, but I don't have my human form yet. I'm debating right now. But my true form is something terrifying and sanity tearing, because I just think some ungodly horrors is just beautiful. So.
And I think it'll go along really well with our saint. So
Yeah. Oh, these lists are so good, Jamie. I am looking at my human form. I think a tall figure with large headphones and dark eyes is perfect.
awesome.
My true form is many-eyed and many-armed with a halo of open eyes.
Oh, kind of like a true like Christian, like judo Christian sort of idea of like an angel, in a sense. Because don't they have like multi eyes or something like or?
I mean, so yeah, so like Judeo-Christian angels can be like a wheel of eyes and things like that. So yeah,
absolutely, like just a collection of eyes and wings.
I love that. I think it's cherubim have 6 wings, and the biblical text is like, and that they have two sets of wings that they use for flying, and then the other set of wings they use to cover their feet. And like there are a whole bunch of situations in the biblical text where people are like feet, and it's this and so it's this thing in the Hebrew text, which means that then you get to the New Testament where everyone's washing each other's feet, and you're like, wait, which feet are we talking about?
But you gotta hide your soul. I mean, like. That was really bad fun. I'm sorry.
Thinking of that streamer is like, no, I can't show my feet on stream.
Yeah, right.
So I chose my human form as a carefully crafted smirk and expensive clothing.
Very cool.
Because I'm just thinking about like this like collected and calm person, and underneath that's just really chaos. Like,
so good.
I like the contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, I like that.
Oh, I am so torn on these what you hope for. I love build a school for engineers and artisans. That sounds super cool. But also like find the home you've always dreamed of. I mean, aw.
I had to go with the fall in love for the first time just because you mentioned that earlier, and I was like, yep, nope, I'm a sucker for this. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a real good one.
But yeah, and Sean, if you want to like smash yours together, like the perfect home, but that's also a school, like maybe, right? Because I'll ask questions like maybe you used to have a school, maybe it was home for you, and now you want to create another one.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to choose build a school for engineers and artisans, and I'm going to change it slightly to just say to carry on a lost legacy.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, I'll ask questions about that in a bit. But yeah, you were going to bring up our saint's hope. Yeah, I like it when people choose this one for the saint. Very powerful.
I kind of want to encourage people to like delve into and like be okay with their own experience of madness. And like when you have like intrusive thoughts, like that's like to not think of that as something other than yourself.
I like that. That is so cool. Very powerful.
I'm playing earlier today. I was playing a game of Scum and Villainy, and one of the characters is a Urbot who is an artificial intelligence, but like from like thousands of years ago, from precursors. So they're not human made. They're not organic, but they're alive and living as much as anyone else is. But they got a second core, which is like a second brain, and it has all these thoughts and feelings. And we're trying to wrap our head around this like notion, like, yeah, it's scary, but also like, this is who you are, and what we shouldn't be doing is trying to tell you to reject those, this new person that is now part of you. And it's like, how do you integrate and make a home in this shell for these two different, in fact, it's not even two, it's many different people in there. And I love that like notion of like not immediately rejecting this thing just because it doesn't fit in our standard form of thought pattern.
Sean, spoilers for those of us who are still trying to catch up on that series.
Well, sorry. Dang, sorry.
And it just happened today, but no worries, it's okay.
No.
Just kidding. But yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Mm-hmm.
That shows my my bedtime falling asleep show at the moment. So.
Oh, very cool.
But yeah, the thing with the voices was a couple of years ago, I started having a thing where, like, if my mental health gets really bad, I occasionally find myself talking to myself in public, which was always a thing that I found scary from other people. Like if someone's on the bus and they're talking to themselves, and I was like, oh right, that's just a part of being a person sometimes. Like, that's fine. So yeah.
So I have conversations with myself.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then so let's also look into who you are bonded to. So the NPCs that we're going to fill the world with. Does anyone want to talk about their bonds?
I tried to pick some that are like very diametrically opposed. A bubbly sex worker who helps the marginalized, and then a faithless political figure. So
Nice.
I wanted to give myself a person that at least on the surface looks nice, and then a person who at least on the surface looks like a shit heel.
Yeah, very cool. Do you have an idea of like who they are and what they are in the city, or do you want to wait until we like flesh out our city a bit more?
I'd like to flesh out the setting a little more to kind of be like, oh, that person fits in here, or things like that.
Cool. I like it. All right, and then how about our Swang? Like, who are you bonded to? Ooh, I like what you chose.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I decided to go with the first one is an android that was once a human I killed. And then the other one is a long lost sibling who does dangerous work for the corporation, or a corporation rather. So
okay, yeah,
I'm excited to see where we're starting to go, so I can figure out like what the corporation is, or like who the human was, and what the android form sort of looks like now and stuff. So
yeah, and definitely like even if I ask questions, there's a lot of space to just play to find out, right? So, but
Jimmy,
yeah,
can I just say, an android that was once a human I killed is a hot NPC relationship, or any kind of relationship. I mean, that is just, yeah.
I saw that in that list. I was like, I have to.
Yeah.
For me, it's got big feelings of Shrike from Mortal Engines. Who's a cybernetically enhanced, like cybernetically revived dead person killing machine that secretly has feelings.
Okay, now I have to watch it. Now I have to see it.
Mortal Engines is the film like embodiment of being like 13, 14 and reading a terrible fantasy novel.
Oh,
it's so bad. It's so bad, but so good.
Okay. I think with that mindset, I'm here for it. Yeah,
we've
awesome.
Karen, Gian, and I have been watching over Netflix party. Have been watching like real terrible movies together, and just because they're Netflix party, we're just tearing them up as we watch them, or sometimes really actually enjoying them, like legitimately. Sometimes like, wow, this is way better than we thought it was going to be. So that will go on the list of terrible.
On the list for terrible but good. If you haven't already seen Last Witch Hunter, the most Dungeons and Dragons movie ever made.
Wow.
Okay, definitely. My guilty pleasure is Enough with Jennifer Lopez in it. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what it is. I have to watch it. It's not great.
Who
I'm
was
here
it
for
that
really bad.
someone on Twitter was going on about that film and about how like they just keep watching it.
There's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's really not great.
Which movie is it again?
Enough by Jennifer Lopez, like a woman who's outrunning an abusive husband.
Oh,
like,
I remember that movie.
See what I mean? Like the
Oh
way
my
it lights you
gosh.
up. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
I actually, if I remember correctly, I enjoyed it because I was like, yeah, she's gonna fight him now, and like, you know,
Yeah, like maybe that's it, right? Like I know what's
maybe
going
it's
to
like,
come. Like
yeah, it's like she's like working her way up and like going through this. She's now it's like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm like, oh yeah, you get it, girl.
yeah.
Kick his ass. I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
Sean. I don't know about cursing on this stream.
It's fine. It's all good.
I should pass.
I would
Started
not
it.
have noticed if you hadn't said it.
But yeah. Okay, and then so how about our duendes bonds or duendes NPCs? What are we thinking?
Yeah. So the people I'm bonded to is an artisan who specializes in pre-colonial tech. And this is going to get to what connects us in a moment, but I think this was the person who helped me build the bridge that brought us here. I think that because we were off planet, right? We were on some colony planet, yeah. So there is not a conventional way for us to get back here, and I think that I got in communication with this artisan, and we worked from opposite ends to try and build the light bridge that brought us across. And it's broken now. It doesn't work anymore. But yeah, they're the person who helped me. And then the other one is a recovering enslaved who doesn't remember our connections. That seems real dark to me. And so but also like the idea of having this character that to help out really and to see and to sort of, I don't know, just be there and find out what that relationship means, what that's like. Maybe help isn't the right word, maybe support is the right word, like just to see what their life is, whether that means they're reconnecting or they're forging something new. I'm just interested in what that, being cut off means. So yeah, I'm excited about both of those. And
Do you feel
it's
like
also
the
like a heavy one. So if that's something you don't feel like NPCing, I'm cool with doing another one too.
Oh no, I'm always ready. I'm always ready for it. I've been running Changeling the Lost, the PBTA hack by Lowell, and I'm ready.
Nice.
But yeah, do you feel like this enslaved, the recovering one, did they escape with you at the same time, or were they already here on Earth beforehand?
I like the idea that they came with us and they the travel. You said there were a lot of sacrifices along the way, and I think the travel, the transition here may have harmed them, may have disconnected them some way. It could be the same thing that broke the bridge. Maybe they were on it and they were the last one off of the bridge and it shattered as they were coming through. Or it could have just been the process itself of getting here. But yeah, I think it's somebody that I care about very, very deeply, someone who's like very close to Measure. And I think I'm just gonna change my name to just Measure, because every time I look at True Measure, I just don't love it. Is that okay? I know it's not following the name convention.
No, it's just a suggestion. So please
Yeah.
feel free.
All right. I just feel like Measure is like such a better captures. True just feels pompous. It feels just like, no, I look down my nose at you. Yeah. So I think it's a very someone who is in an intimate relationship with Measure. Immediate family, lover, something like that. Not somebody that was like very incredibly good friend. Somebody who was like
really close.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And we'll figure that out through questions. But
oh yeah, absolutely. So I put in some vague descriptions in the NPC tab just so that since we have some idea of that. But yeah, but feel free for everybody else. No pressure to put in your NPCs yet. We have like until next time anyway. So we're just
Cool.
focusing on card gen today. Yeah. Okay. So the next one, my favorite part is what connects us. So this is something I saw Avery do recently in their latest version of Teenage Nightmare, which is a belonging outside belonging version of Monster Hearts. Because usually in these things, you just ask the person to your left, except on the internet, what does that mean? So,
Right, good point.
So I end up just, but yeah. So anyway, this is something I saw Avery doing that I really like. So you answer a question first, and then once you answer that, you can ask them that question. So for example, just to get through it, let's ask our Aswang, who do you hope will never be scared of you? Like between the saint and the duende, who don't you want to ever be scared of you?
Oh, that's where is that on this on these lists or
Ooh, yeah. So if
it's
you
kind
scroll
of-
down to what connects us,
what connects us? Hold on, I'm trying
It's
to-
in the it's in the purple highlighted section of what connects us.
strong moves, earn a token, play to find out, gift, hunt. Oh,
Scroll
okay.
up.
Oh,
It's right above element.
oh, there we go. Okay, who do you hope will never scare you? I apparently skipped over that whole little block, and I'm like, where is it?
no worries.
Who do you hope will never be scared of you? Oh, I think it's gonna be the duende. Because I feel like with the saint, we have like we're on opposite sides of the world, so I don't really know. Like, maybe I don't know. So maybe it's the duende that's
Yeah.
I don't want to be scared of me.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So that means
Yeah.
you get to ask them your question. Ooh,
Okay.
ooh, I like that when you show. Sorry, I just keep going ooh in this game.
You asked me to make you an Aswang like me, but I refused. Why did I? Why won't I ever make you one?
I asked you. Sorry, I'm just parsing the backboard of that. I asked you to make me in a swang like you, but you refused. Why did you? Why won't I ever make you one? I think I asked you to make me in a swang in a very dark moment. I think when we came through and the one that I cared the most about was no longer with us, I didn't want to deal with that pain. And I was hoping that if I became an Aswang, I could flee it. Because I have some foolish ideas about what an Aswang, what you are, and thought that you seem to be able to endure an incredible amount of pain and not have it affect you. And I thought maybe you could grant me that. I think I'm wrong, but Sean thinks that Measure is wrong. But Measure has seen that you have just endured so much and still survive, and they don't think they can. So they asked for you to make them. And and I think you refused because that's not the answer. Like that's not the answer to. Do I answer all of this? I want to make sure I'm not overstepping.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good question. So you can answer as much as you like, but it's encouraged to like go back and forth if you like. Like if Morgan's just going, yeah, that's cool, then that's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was like make me dark as your own dark soul, so I never have to feel this pain. Actually, I want to remove the colorism from that. Sorry. Show me a world where give me a world where I don't have to feel the pain like you do. And I think you scoffed, or whether you showed it or not, like you knew that no, it's just because you endure all this pain doesn't mean that you don't feel it. And I think, yeah, does that sound cool to you?
Yeah. I like that.
What do you think about why you won't ever make me one? Is it a continuation of that, or do you feel like I have some important purpose here?
I think because I know what I am and I know how intense my true form is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wish that on anybody, and it's my burden to carry.
I think that bears for an interesting question of if you ever decide to use your
Yeah.
second elemental magic and make another swamp, because I think I will feel very betrayed if you do.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, I didn't think about that.
This is good. This is great.
So good. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. This is fantastic. Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. And then next, let's ask. So for our saint, your question first to answer is, who here has more faith than you do?
It's got to be the Duende. I'm sorry, Sean. You get
All
two in
good.
a row. I'm sorry. It's just like I only have one answer to that what connects us question. Um,
I'm super cool
because
with
of the
that.
way that like the Duende is so focused.
Yeah.
Like that um there's probably a thing where Tonyo thinks of like it kind of like doubts his own, like he's like, "Oh, I don't know that I have faith, right?" He he sees like he admires steadfastness and like blind faith in others,
Hmm.
whereas his whole thing is about like kind of accepting multiplicity. So like yeah. So I think the strength of measure looks like faith too.
I think
To
that makes
Tonyo.
sense. I'm super down with that, but I want to make sure that this Jamie, that if we don't sort of
That
all
was my
point
question.
one at each other, will that
No, not at all. Like, because I found, I mean, in my play testing, sometimes when you force, like, oh, I haven't had one yet, then that it kind of feels, I don't know how to describe it uneven. So I'm fine with this.
okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it helps flush out a lot. Because you're also saying that the aswang doesn't represent faith for you, and I feel that's still reflective of
Yeah,
the relationship going on between you two, right? Even if you're not
yeah.
directly answering the question. But yeah, okay, very cool. So
So
your
yeah,
question.
measure. You knew me before I became a saint. What was I, and why is it our secret to never tell?
Wow. So Jamie, give me I'm gonna make sure I'm coming from the right reference. Presumably, all of us were at one point. We've all been spirits for all of our existence, right? So all of us were at one point one of these categories, and Antonio was something before being a saint. Is that
Yeah, good
reasonable?
question. So basically, when someone chooses that question, it means that they are putting into the lore that not all the elementals were perfect elementals before, right? You can introduce the idea that maybe you used to be human, or maybe you used to be the opposite of an elemental. Maybe,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think, and Ash, absolutely feel free to X card this if this is overstepping your character. I think you're an artificial creation. I think you are a bunch of elementals. I've been watching a lot of Steven Universe, so this is the shards getting mashed together, right? But I think you're a bunch of fragments of elementals that the corpse mashed together to form an entity, and you sort of they never expected you to like fully become like fully sentient, and you did define them. I think you were the fragment of many other elementals, and I think you might have bits of them in your memories.
I think that really works with when we were talking about like the idea of syncretism earlier, right?
Yeah,
Of
right,
like being like, yeah, we got this idea and this idea, and now it's Jesus or whatever.
right.
Like,
So
so I
yeah,
think that works really well.
I think you've got lots of past lives that aren't really past life. They're still very much a part of you.
Yeah.
Uh,
What was I and why? So what was I? Yeah. Why is it our secret to never tell? Why don't we talk about it?
I feel like it's sort of I feel like there's a stigma about it that you're not a true elemental, right? Like I think that the assumption would be that other people think you're a creation of the corp, right? That you're not
So
yeah,
I'm going to here.
yeah.
Um, this is a thing that's very real for me. Um,
Oh, okay.
but,
Yeah.
but I wanna push at it with in play. Okay, so this is me signaling, hey, this is going to be like an intense concept for me to interrogate in play, and I want to.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
for saying that. And
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
the idea of not being a real person is as an autistic person is a really intense thing for me to confront, and I want to do that through play.
okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to articulate it, Ash. So yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. And
Yeah.
we'll what's the word I'm looking for? Like we'll keep an eye on it. Gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I need to be, I might be like, hey, I need like a minute to like process or things like that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, and thank you for letting us know that so that we can sort of signpost that as well. If we're going to bring that content into the game, we can kind of do a check, just because, you
Yeah.
being cool about it right now doesn't mean it's, cool
Exactly.
indefinitely. Right. So we'll make sure to check in on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dope.
Yeah. I love this. All right. And then, so, which brings us to our duendes question. Who here can't you make sense of? Like, who doesn't make sense to you between these two?
Up until this whole conversation, it was gonna be you, Ash. I was gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be the Saint because you're religious stuff. But now I feel like you make a lot of sense to me. Like, I think after knowing that,
Yeah.
I feel like Measure, for good or ill, has a real sense of your component parts and has a sense of what they were, and that's not the same as who you are, and has like I think they can, or at least I think they can make some sense make sense of. So
they at least think they can.
They at least think they can, yeah. And they could be very wrong. And they probably are. But so yeah, Morgan, I think Ezra is the one that Measure can't make sense of.
Understandable, yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you said no to me. So you destroyed my greatest creation, which I'm going to say was the light bridge that brought us here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the way we got here.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do it, and why am I grateful to you?
I think I did it because there's no point in going back. Why be connected to the past like that, and just why should we be holding on to that? So we destroying it, simply just saving ourselves from trying to retreat back to that, wherever that was.
Like temptation.
Yeah, having that temptation there.
Do we leave anybody behind? I know that's not one of the questions, but
I mean,
no,
not that I care about.
Okay. So this is a great question.
Am I playing this character well? I don't know.
Yes,
yet.
you're doing
it. Mwah, chef kiss. I'm just like, I'm seeing the transformation before my eyes, and I love it.
So yeah, I love this twist on the question because it's not what you'd expect. Why am I grateful to you for destroying it? I could see a lot of reasons for you to be upset, but I'm really curious about the reason for me to be
Does
grateful.
this tie into the to the answer to Ezra's question?
Oh yeah, I think it totally could.
Does Ezra see you as weak?
And destroying the bridge would make Measure stronger.
And like Measure knows that they would have faltered and turned back. Is that a?
Maybe I'm trying to make you stronger. Maybe this is like me testing you, because maybe you still think that maybe one day I'll turn you into an Aswang.
Yeah, but this is I don't have the option to go back now. I can't chicken out. I can't return. Yeah. Cool. I feel like Morgan, if it's okay with you, I have very mixed emotions about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a part of me that is very grateful to you because it doesn't allow me to turn back. But there's a part of me that cares about this person. And again, we haven't defined them, but it's very dear to me and thinks like maybe I could help them if I took them back or maybe more like I feel like it's like I'm not sure. So there's lots of like I'm grateful to you. I'm also resentful of you. Yeah, I think that's.
I love the implication that Morgan was saying of like you still think that that you might get made an Aswang one day. That's really cool.
Yep.
I was just thinking like maybe if you're into Sean that you're like, oh, this is just a test. And seeing how I can grow from this, and like.
Oh, I love it! Yeah, that's so good.
This is just the song measuring you, right? And you have to see if you come up. Yeah, I like it.
The idea that Measure assumes that other people are always taking the measure
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
very cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
we have such strong ideas for our characters already. And yeah, I think if we like, this is a good place to take our first break before we get into city generation because we use our brains a lot. So, but yeah, what
That
do you
sounds
all think?
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That sounds great. All right, friends, we're gonna take a 5, and we'll be back in a little bit, and we'll make the city that we have arrived on. So thanks all for hanging out in chat, and we'll see you back in a few minutes.